I'm not exactly sure of every use the manufacturer intends for this feature, but I know that electricians use it to easily mark measurements on conduit. There's a little tab stop on the front, and then the concave nature of the tape and the vertical layout of the numbers make it perfect for this. Speaking of the concave nature of the blade, it's shaped like this to allow it to stay straight as you extend it. The amount of distance that it'll do this without breaking and falling is called the standout. All right, we'll start with this 9-foot tape. It's not going to have a lot of standout. 3 feet. So about 3 feet. Now we'll try this digital tape measure, which is not great for its ruggedness, but it's great for the digital aspect. And it is a 16-foot tape. There's 4 feet right there. I feel it starting to crack. 59 inches, and 5 feet. All right, next is this DeWalt Atomic. This is a very strong tape, so I wouldn't be surprised if it had long standout. This is a 16-foot tape. 9 feet, 118 inches, 9 foot 10. Let's see if it'll make 10 feet. And 10 feet. Now we'll try this Cobalt 25-foot tape. This is a much more rugged framing type tape, and that broke at 9 feet. So let's see, let's go back and see how far the standout is exactly. So that's 8 foot 9. So about 104 inches, 8 foot 8. The hook of your tape may have a slot in it, and while this is weight reduction to make it high speed, low drag, it's really to hook on a nail or a screw. You won't use this in woodworking too much, but if you ever need to measure from something that isn't going to be a finished surface, like say wall studs, you can pound in a nail or drive a screw and measure for the next one. Some hooks are serrated, but you can do this trick even if it's not. The measuring tape can act as a scribe tool in a pinch. So let's say you need to measure 12 inches out from a spot. So hold the tape at 12 inches and then use the hook to make a mark. It works a little better if it's serrated like this one that's even serrated on the sides to make it easier, but a smooth hook will still make a scratch. Measuring between two surfaces can be a little bit tricky. We tend to bend the tape to try and estimate the distance, and while eyeballing and estimating measurements is a perfectly valid way to build accurate projects, let me show you 2 ways that are even better. The first method is to use the width of the case that's printed on the back. So push the hook up against one side and then extend the tape until the case is pushed up against the other end, and then add the case width to the measurement that shows on the tape. Then you add those two together, and that's the distance between those two surfaces. The second method involves measuring from one end to about 10 inches and then flipping the tape around and measuring from the other end to that 10-inch mark. Then you add those two together, and that's the distance between those two surfaces. To find the direct center of a board, especially when it's some weird fractional width, pivot the tape until a whole number is on the edge, then mark the halfway point of that measurement, and that will be your center. You can also use this to mark equal intervals along the board. The next one is an easy way to subtract a measurement from another measurement. So let's say I wanted to subtract 5 3/8 of an inch from 32 1/16 of